think the trip's important because it gets them out of their bubble. I mean, we're here in the city, it's all around us.
Obviously we're an urban school, so we've got no access to any wildlife or wild areas.
For many of them it's their first time away from home as well, and getting to have sleepovers with their friends and be a little bit more independent and grow in that dependence too for each individual child, especially for the children that don't feel like they can do those things. It's really important for them to get that chance to go away and experience things that they wouldn't experience outside of a city, like inside a city. I mean,
so they need to know the environment and the culture of the outside city. And it's a mountain, and if they do not know it's a mountain, they will not feel about the mountain.
Where we sort of live in the city, so sort of you get the vehicles and the police sirens and whatnot. So getting out and enjoying the space and the quietness and nature.
Whereas the city is just concrete, it's just the concrete jungle, isn't it? So it's very limited.
For many of the children, mine included, they don't get to do these things. They don't get to spend time outside in empty fields and just explore and see what there is to do. They don't get to walk in a waterfall because you don't typically find those in the city. So there are so many things that they can do there that they don't come across every day here.
you can see around here, it's tall buildings, it's not much green space. We do have the roof garden here, but you do have to travel quite a bit to get a wide open green space. And even at that, it's just a park. They do not get to see mountains that are green. They do not get to see sheep in fields. They do not get to see natural waterfalls.
My name is Richard Foley. I'm the Chief Executive of the Portal Trust. We are an independent, progressive, grant-making charitable trust based in the City of London, and we provide grants to individuals and organisations in financial need. The visit to the centre is transformative for many, many students. We all learn really about students from London, many of whom live in overcrowded circumstances or in flats that don't have access to gardens or green space. And actually going to the centre really does make a huge difference. I think personally it's lovely to see an increase in people's self-belief and self-confidence having been to the centre, because they want to tell you all about it, what they've learnt. And I think really it will be quite memorable. I certainly remember the trips that I had as a child, and I hope they do too.
Well, because I'm from London, this is actually my first time leaving England, so it's very exciting and I feel elated and overjoyed.
It makes me feel like I can escape from a very tight space, because in the city there's lots of buildings and not very much grass. So I feel like I can just get away from the city and the buildings and just go to a place full of land.
If you think about our school is in the centre of town, it's in the centre of London, and a lot of children grow up in a very urban environment, and they're very things like what clothes you wear and being streetwise and all that sort of stuff is very important to them. And they come here and they see sheep for the first time, or they find out that milk doesn't come from Tesco, or things, those sort of things. So it's fantastic to have the opportunity to do it. If you're stuck in the city all the time, I think it creates a little bubble, and you grow up in that bubble. You need to know what is outside the bubble, and that's what coming here really facilitates.
Pretty excited because this is my first time and it's always good to have a new experience.
I think it's just because it's our first time all of us in a class going Wales together, so it'll be all the things we do together.
that we get to spend time with each other and friends.
I think this week it'll be very fun because you get to spend time with all your friends. Even though you're away from your family, you still have people to entertain you.
The first night when we head up onto the common is a really kind of valuable introduction to the area, especially when we have groups that come from towns and cities, and many haven't even been into such a rural area before. And many of them are really surprised by what's living here and what they can see. The fact that after only a short walk from our centre, you can get these magnificent views over the whole of the Brecon Beacons.
This is really different being at school because it's not like any regular learning, it's actually like survival learning and technique learning, and it's not ABCs.
What are you the most excited about?
I am excited for the canoeing.
Canoeing.
Canoeing is a challenging activity for lots of young people, but it's ideal for getting people to work together as a team because they have no choice, because you have a pair in a boat and they have to communicate with each other to be able to go on a journey down the canal.
I felt very scared because I thought I was going to fall out the boat as soon as I got in it because I've never been in it before, so
I really wanted to do it because this is my first time doing it as an experience.
And it's a great way of getting them to feel a bit more confident about what they can achieve, because we can introduce the skills of canoeing bit by bit on our journeys, and you can really kind of see their confidence grow over the day.
To complete this activity, you needed especially a lot of teamwork because you have to tell each other you have to paddle backwards and I paddle forwards.
When you're doing a canoe, you need to talk to the person that's at the back and talk to the person that's at the front, so then you can figure out who's doing what.
Were you good at that?
I think so.
Most people who come here have never been up a mountain and certainly wouldn't have been up something as big as Pen y Fan. So it's a huge challenge for young people to achieve something like that. So they get such a sense of achievement by getting up to the summit.
They would never have been in an environment like this before, so they get really, really challenged by it in several different ways, working together as a team, dealing with colder conditions, when more challenging environment, and then experiencing the natural environment that Wales has to offer. So it's a very, very different place to London. Seeing the mountains, the waterfalls, and all the rest of it, it's just a great place for them to appreciate nature and then get in touch with it, essentially.
A lot of our children would never ever get the opportunity to do this sort of thing, and for them it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Even though it takes 5 hours combined to get up and down the mountain, I think it's going to be a good experience.
It's a really good way of getting them all to bond together as a team, and you find that after that day everyone kind of is much more helpful and aware of how they need to support those who are struggling. And quite often you find new friendships developing within the group after they've been together.
You needed to work together with other people because if they were struggling, you'd have to help them to get to the top.
So one child in particular we have in the class, he's really sensitive. You know, he has dyspraxia, he's autistic, and some of the things that he pushed himself to do on that trip were just absolutely amazing. I never thought he would do some of the things that he would do, and he just felt like he had this determination in his mind. He just really wanted to do it, really wanted to get through it. And even though he was doing things that he wouldn't normally do, like jumping across stones, he fell into the lake at one point, and you know, we pulled him out. He was crying, but once we got him tidied up and dried up, he motored on, he kept going. And that was something that just I never expected from that child, because in school if he gets a tap with the ball because of his dyspraxia and his sensitivity with his autism, that would be him out for half an hour. He would be so upset by it. And then to see him even going to jump across those stones, to see him carry on climb the rest of a mountain after he had that fall in the lake, it was just absolutely amazing.
I didn't know how high the mountain was going to be really, because I'm not really sure the distance and size. But then as I climbed up, I knew,
the mountain climbing because I reached like 30,000 steps and it was quite high, and I've never actually done mountain climbing that high before.
So it's so important, I think, that young people get introduced to these beautiful places and understand why they're so special, what's unusual about them, some of the rare plants that might grow there, some of the animals that they might see. And it's really wonderful when you kind of see that sense of wonder.
But my favourite bit was when we got to the top of Penny Fan. That was my favourite bit because at the beginning we were all getting very sluggish and we didn't really want to climb up it, but then we just stopped feeling like that and we made it to the top. It was 900 metres, about 896 metres tall, to be precise.
How did you feel when you finally made it to the top?
We felt relieved because we felt we couldn't walk another step up the mountain, that steep.
The mountain walking, and I overcome it and by like walking and using my strength and energy the best way I could.
What I'm most proud of myself for this week is climbing up a whole mountain, because never in my life would I thought I would do that without this opportunity to come here.
Do you think you'd do it again?
Never.
I think it's natural to be afraid and be hesitant of new things, and one of the real strengths of residential outdoor learning is you do it together. You're not doing it on your own, so it's a shared experience. And yes, you might be nervous or apprehensive about taking part in some of those activities. People are generally worried about going caving, for instance. It's one of the activities that people do have quite a lot of anxiety about. But I always stress the point, you're not doing it on your own. You know, it's about sharing that experience within a team environment with other people.
Some of their parents would be shocked if they saw some of the activities that they did and got up to and walked away from safely.
And get the excitement of being completely away from all sources of light. So we introduced them gradually with a few lights, and then today they managed to do a long section of the tunnel with no lights at all.
Working together as a team, so having that spirit of pushing each other on and egging each other on, communicating with each other well. And then a bit of resilience as well to overcome adversity in as far as being in cold conditions, dealing with challenges that might scare them, and then just having that ability to crack on, get involved, and then have fun while doing it.
I learnt not to be afraid of the dark, because during the tunnel walk, when we couldn't see both edges, we began to turn all of the lights off, and it was pitch dark whether you shut your eyes or open them.
Keep steady, walk slowly, and stay with your group.
So at the point you're feeling worried or nervous, then you would expect your friends and your teammates then to step in and put in that kind word or that little bit of support. And that little bit of support can have a huge impact. It can make you feel strong, it can give you the strength to carry on and push yourself that little bit further.
I feel like the other groups were lying and it wasn't torture. It wasn't torture at all. It was very fun.
When we talked to you at the beginning of the week, you said you weren't sure if you've seen a waterfall before. You've seen one now. What did you think of it? Was it really cool?
It was really cool because when all the water comes off of the rocks, it makes the big splash, and there's lots of pressure on your back when you go under it, so it felt really good.
Because I know in my life I have never actually really seen a waterfall, and I have never gone into a waterfall.
And they've been getting wet and having some fun. It's really great to come see those smiles come out. It's been a long and tiring week for many of them, and it really pushes their resilience. But because they're having so much fun, they forget about the tiredness when they're in the water, and it's just enjoying the simple things, sliding on rocks and playing in the pools.
I feel so happy. I can't even explain it. It's just overall happiness.
So the objectives I've got for the children is really just to have a good time and do something that's out of their comfort zone.
And then we saw him underneath the waterfall. It was just, it warmed my heart to the absolute core. It was amazing. Thinking about it is even like bringing tears to my eyes. It was the best thing ever.
He is worried about getting wet. He doesn't like the feeling of being damp, especially he doesn't like the feeling of getting his feet damp. So as you can imagine, when we have wet weather, that's quite a challenge, and when we're in the water, that's a really big challenge for him. But today he was absolutely amazing, because he had that support all the way through, and everybody was so patient with him, and that's what makes the difference. So he actually completed the entire waterfall walk, and he went behind the waterfalls, slid down all the rocks, which is absolutely a massive achievement for a young person like that.
Are you tired?
No, not really. I had so much fun through all the days that I'm not really tired anymore.
Feeling tired. That's what I'm feeling.
It was better because I never knew climbing a mountain would be hard but very fun. I never knew I would get to see a waterfall and walk under it, and I never knew that I could go canoeing and stand up while paddling.
Like the mountain climbing wasn't going to be that hard, and the canoeing wasn't going to be that hard, and like the waterfall wasn't going to be that hard either, so actually it was.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for a lot of the kids was getting up a mountain, like looking at it and going, I'm not going up there. Because we can see the mountains from here, so they're only over the other side of the valley. But to say, oh, you're going up there tomorrow, and then they'd never believe you.
Yes, it was super fun and absolutely amazing.
The great views, all the enjoyable times, and the friends you have with you to enjoy it as well.
Well, I felt accomplished. I felt like my mind had been taken somewhere else, and I just felt like I was amazing and the view was amazing.
And it's one of those things where when even people who come back and visit the school, they don't talk about all the English lessons that they've had, or all the art lessons, or some of the art lessons they do. But they don't talk about their maths lessons. They'll talk about that time in Wales when we did that, or that evening activity where so-and-so slipped over, or that moment when someone fell down the hill, or fell in some water, or fell out of the canoe. That's more important. But I think it does foster, growth in them, but I don't only see them when they come back and see me, so I don't know what they're doing, and they get really, really big.
I think 90% of the children will talk about their time in Wales as a favourite memory.
She's more responsible for herself, takes more responsibility, more forward thinking and independent.
He likes to spend a lot of his time with me, so to gain some more independence and to just realise there's so much more he can do away from me, and having fun with other people and have so many more experiences. And typically these wouldn't be things that we would do together as a family, or just himself and me. So to do these things with his friends and come back and have the adventures to tell me about was really lovely.
Do you miss your family?
I miss them a lot.
Would you want to bring them back here?
I'd like to bring them back here, yeah.
What would you show them?
I'd show them all the sights that we've seen. If someone could drive us to Pen y Fan and stuff like that, then yeah, I would show them all the stuff that we've been doing.
I just told them how I had so much fun and how I did all the activities and climbed the mountain and stuff.
I think it gives them a bit more independence, not having the parents doing everything for them, and sort of fend for themselves. And she brings that home now, so she, morning routines for the school and brushing her teeth, not being told.
I think one of the things that the kids have got out of it, or the children have got out of it, is there's just a bit more well-being, and they've become a lot more confident within themselves. They sit there and they don't worry so much about getting things wrong and things like that. Because they've proved something to themselves. So I think, yeah, they come back. They do come back very much transformed on a personal level, but then as a class as well. It's really lovely.
I felt proud of myself. I helped Malachi up a tiny bit of the mountain.
I really just learnt everything because all the activities we had done, I had never done before, like mountain climbing, canoeing, and waterfall walking. So it's a bit of an experience for all of it.
Yeah, I remember that I learned lots of teamwork and how to make friendly bonds with my friends.
Were you proud of him?
Yes, very proud. Very proud that he went and had a go when actually that was completely out of his comfort zone. But I know that he gave it 100% and came back, and I enjoyed listening to the stories. Very proud.
There's been an increase in mental health problems and emotional difficulties, well-being issues. And by going to places like South Wales and to the Outdoor Centre, that has a wonderful effect on the pupils' well-being and their educational attainments. And it's absolutely wonderful to see the pupils' faces as they undertake these activities.
In the modern world, they spend a lot of time in cities, a lot of time in environments that are not natural. So just giving them the opportunity to experience being in the outdoors might instill something. They might appreciate it, they might look after it a bit more, and they might come back to this environment. And then when they go back to their homes, they might appreciate nature a little bit more, the little nature they have around them.
Spending time doing outdoor activities is so important to our sense of well-being. You know, as people, we're meant to be outside really, and we've evolved to be outside in an outdoor environment. So we feel calmer when we're in somewhere where there's lots of space. We feel calmer when there's somewhere where there's lots of greenery, like all around me now, and we have all these mosses and all the leaves. We feel calmer when we listen to the sound of all the bird songs around us. So simply being outdoors puts people in a more positive mindset. There's so many different activities we can do outdoors. There's so many opportunities for learning about the environment, about the history of the area, about the animals that we share it with, about the plants. Because with all those different activities we can do, there's all these different challenges in lots of different environments, whether that's water, whether it's underground, whether it's on a hillside, so that anybody, no matter their previous experience, has a chance to challenge themselves, and to try something new and to overcome something and try something that they haven't done before. And I think that's what's really magical about being in the outdoors.
In general, I have just felt relieved and relaxed, not being covered in pollution and being able to do this away from pollution.
Because this is more in the countryside, and in London you don't always see these forests, all the sheep, and it's just lots very busy in London. I felt helpful.
Helpful to who?
The rest of my team.
It's more calm and relaxed, and you just feel different.
Yeah, I've learned that sometimes you really have to be patient with people. Otherwise, if you rush them, then they're gonna feel when you rush them, they're gonna fall over a lot more, and it just doesn't work out very well when you don't.
And do you think that's a skill you can take back home with you?
I think it will be, because there are some times when I have friends that are not in school, they have challenging moments like that, and I need to help them.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go.
Siamai from Banau Brycheiniog.
Right, okay. Can't say transformers.
Well, for me, I enjoyed the piece for 1 week.
By myself, I am alive, and I soar. Still I run towards the wind and let the challenge draw me in, 'cause I want more. Oh, we are all looking for adventure.
Can you think about this one?
Have a nice tea, please. Nice peach tea.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, that's it.
We are all looking for adventure. We are all.
Was it that bad? Was it scary?
Yes, but no, it wasn't that bad.
We are all looking for adventure.
Your mum said you stayed up late at night. Is that true?
It's very much true in the bedrooms because my friends would not stop talking, even if my best friend and I would tell them stop talking, but they would carry on. But in the end, I got a good night's sleep.
So you weren't talking, it was everyone else?
I was talking.
And I simply can't deny it that I feel adventure calling out to me.
Would make you a YouTube star or TikTok star, isn't it, nowadays?
Not really. I'd rather prefer to be a normal person that I am rather than a star.
Which mountain did you climb? Can you point at it?
Penny Van.
What's the name, sorry?
Penny Van.
Oh, well done.
Done.
Yay!
Wicked.
So that was helpful. So thank you very much.
That's your last interview. You are done. You will never see us again.
No! Are you sure you won't be back when I'm in year 6 so you can...
I would love to be. That'd be really cool, but I don't know. They haven't asked us yet. Yeah.
How are you going to interview the other activities we haven't done?
Wow, that's a good question.
That's a good point.
That's one of the things I'm going to try to say why we should go. Because I want to go back to Wales.